Well, good afternoon, and welcome to Moments with Elevated Not Tolerated. I am your hostess with the mostest, Victoria Holland. I am the CEO of Victoria Elevates. So go out there and tell some of your friends and your family that we are here. Care, share, and like this video. We are on YouTube as well as Facebook. And go ahead and join our YouTube family because there's some things that will be happening on YouTube that you will not see. And can I say that again? There's some things that you will see on YouTube that you will not be able to see here on Facebook, but you will be able to join us on YouTube as well as we have some things on Clubhouse right now. We also have some things in another arena. So go out there and share, care, and like this video and tell people that Victoria Elevates is back. The thing about moments with elevated not tolerated is, we used to come on. I was just telling a fellow colleague this earlier in a meeting. I used to be on every day, every single day, around about 7 o'clock in the morning. I was always here, giving you your elevation moments, your nuggets for the day, things for you to be able to, get ready for the day with. And then we got sick in 2021, and so we took a little a break, if you will, from the environment until we could get back to our physical health. And then we've had some issues since then, but it is all good because now we're moving forward. But you may not see us every day, but you will see us during the moments that God has empowered us to be on here with you for. One of the things that I want to encourage you on is that no two people think alike, and no two people will speak alike. Even twins. Even twins do not talk and walk the same way. And neither will you or I. That's what makes us unique. So, with that being said, I want you to always know that if I'm coming on, I always send that out a notice. There's always something on Facebook that will say I'm coming and what time I'll be here. And usually, unless we have technical issues or what have you, we'll be right here on live with you. We're waiting for a few other people to pop in. We know this is usually one of the worst parts of the day for some folks, because either you're grabbing your lunch or you're grabbing something. And thanks, Joan. How are you doing? Good friend from back home. Love you, my girl. And we appreciate you for sharing. I definitely appreciate you to the highest for doing that. But this is the time that today that God set aside for us to come and talk just a little bit. And I want to encourage you to join us on Sunday night for Uncensored Conversations with Elevated Not Tolerated. My guest this week is going to be Michelle B. Hammond. She is a regular on our show, if you will. But Michelle will be coming back in a different capacity on Sunday night. She's going to be talking about mental health. She's going to be giving us some techniques and some ways that we can manage that part of our life. Because how many of you know that when you are dealing with mental health, that is a very sticky subject. It can also can kind of bring some kind of shame to some people, but can I be honest with you? If you're real, let's just get down to the basics. Because one of the things I shared with a fellow colleague today was that one thing I can tell you about Uncensored Conversation or Moments with Elevated Not Tolerated, whenever you see Victoria Elevates pop up, is that we're going to be real, and we're going to be real to the core with you, right? It may not be what you want to hear at that moment, but we're going to be raw and real with you, okay? So one of the things I want to tell you is that mental health happens to all of us at some stage. But the thing is, when it becomes an extension or it exceeds, then that's when it becomes an issue, right? And then you will need some extra counseling and therapy and doctor's treatments and all of those things to get to that place where you can manage it. And one of the things that I truly believe in as being, one of the things with Victoria Elevates now is that we're here to empower and embrace and educate you to be elevated, not tolerated. It's not a bad thing if you have mental issues. It's a thing that you have to deal with. It's a part of life. Do most of us know how to deal with it? But no, some of us are afraid to deal with it, right? So this is the thing, yes, Joan, I highly recommend telling people to join us on Sunday night because she is going to go into the depths. Michelle B. Hammond is she's a life coach, but she's also a mental health advocate. She's been in the field for many years. She has a degree in certain aspects of it. She also is a life coach. She's my good friend in that area. She's a life coach. She's an author. She's a singer songwriter, but she'll be with us on Sunday night to talk about mental health and how we need to deal with it. So we don't want you to miss that. Please, please, please share, care, and like. The show starts at 7 o'clock. We want you to be a part. Get your easy chair, get your notebooks, your paper and pencil, so that you can write down the information that she's going to share. And some of the techniques that she's going to actually share with us on Sunday are some things that people typically would say are not good, if you will. But can I be honest with you? Do you even know what good really is? Have you ever tapped into the definitions of words? Because sometimes we say things and they have no meaning, they have no basis, they have no bound for it at all. But sometimes we as individuals will say, that's not good, that's not bad, that technique is wrong, that technique is bad. But can I be honest with you? That it is, what the truth of the matter is that everything doesn't work for everybody. I'm diagnosed with migraines. What works for you don't work for me, right? It's with people with different diagnoses, different things happen, right? So let's be honest with it. Let's be real with it. You don't know what it takes for Jane Doe. You don't know what it takes for Joan. You don't know what it takes for me. You don't know what it takes for Billy Bob or Sally Sue across the corner to be able to handle what they're going through. So she's going to come and talk about some techniques and some things that you can do that may not suit everybody. And I'll say this right now. If you're not into it, you're free to, log off my show at any point that you want to. Just like right now, if you're not into what I'm saying, you can log off right now, and it's not going to offend me because I know that I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. But does that mean that I won't join you on your show? It means totally opposite. I'll come and join you because I want to see what attracts me to you, right? And that's how we got to be real with it, right? I want to pop up something that Joan said again because I think it's very important that all of us make this a note in our minds, because Joan said if the truth be told, all of us have mental health issues since COVID. And that is true because when we talk about different things, you're going to understand how that works in your atmosphere. I teach this to my students in the positive self-building class. Anything out here is your atmosphere. Anything that's close to you is your space. So anything that comes in your atmosphere, you got to understand that there's going to be some things that's going to affect you with that. The question is, how bad do you want to get it fixed, right? And that's why we want to go with certain things. So I want to talk to you today from the topic custom made. And when I tell you, when I was awakened with this topic, I was like, okay, well, where are we going to go with this? Because at the end of the day, everybody has their own theory about what this phrase means, right? And I know many of you probably won't join us on Clubhouse. We'll be on Clubhouse tomorrow morning at 9:15. We're going to continue our talk about where the real you stand up. We're talking about the imposter syndrome. We're talking about that. We're talking about what it takes for you to stand up and be the real you. And one of those things is understanding being custom made. Right. So what we want to, so when God awakened me with this, I'm like, God, I'm coming back to the live streams. I'm coming back to what I enjoy, which is helping people on a different level, give them 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of some real talk, some real things. Because as a coach, as a motivational coach, as a personal development coach, one of the things that I want to do is empower you and embrace you to get to that point where you can be erased from some little things that you've been thinking, but they ain't really there. And at the end of the day, some of the negative thinking that you have been doing is what's causing you to stay in the place that you're at right now. And I need you to move to that next level. It's time for you to branch into another avenue. It's time for you to see some things on a different page, right? And so that's the reason why we want to talk about things that's going to get us to that next level. And one of the things is, I was having this conversation with a fellow colleague, and then I was having a conversation late last night, and then I had a conversation early this morning with God in my God time, right? And you can call it whatever you want to call it. I call it my God time, because when I was sitting there and I was talking to God about some things about business, and I was talking to God about some things that I had encountered during this process of business, I was asking God, what is it that keeps people from understanding how unique the things that you do for us is, right? And that's when he started breaking some things down to me. And that's what I'm going to share today to you today about being custom made. One of the things that you got to understand is you got to understand what true definitions of some words are, right? And one of the things that I want you to understand is that the phrase custom made means that it is uniquely and it's made to an individual specification. All right. And you're going to say, well, what does this have to do with me? Well, when you custom made, you were custom made by our God, right? He custom made each one of us. And we're very unique to his specifications. What he desires from us and through us and in us is all about what he has customly designed for us to be. Hey, Monique, thanks for joining. When I tell you, as I begin to ask God about this process, and God, what does this have to do with the people that I'm going to reach out to? Those people that are in my niche, if you will, because as a life coach, as who I am, one of the things that is important for me is to understand who are those people that I'm reaching. And one of the things that God has always empowered me with is that you're not going to reach the typical people that you think you're going to reach. You may start off with this group of people, but the whole actuality is that you're going to move to another group of people, right? And one of those things is we have to understand that everybody is uniquely and specifically designed by God. It doesn't matter what it looks like to anybody else. You were a custom-made figure that was designed by God with some key things in process that he wanted only you to be able to give to the people, places, and things. And see, this is the thing. Most of us get wrapped up in, well, how come I don't look like Sally? How come I don't look like Jim? Hey, because the fact of the matter is you wasn't designed to look like anybody. The thing is, you can look at a picture of someone, right? Let's talk about hairstyles, because it's mostly women in the group right now. We talk about hairstyles. We get different hairstyles because it looks good, right? But can I be honest with you? Every hairstyle isn't designed for you. It wasn't specifically made for you. There are people that experience alopecia. They lose their hair, so they have to make their hair a different way. At the end of the day, you are custom made. I want you to get this in your spirit today. I want you to get this in your understanding today, that you were customly made for some things. You are never going to be like anybody else because you are custom made. Monique does t-shirts now. She makes those as a custom made item. Well, let me say this. Let me even go even in depth with that. Monique, I'm going to use your product for a little bit. She makes design. She does t-shirts, and she makes all of these beautiful designs and all of these beautiful sayings on them. Some of those are things that she's and Monique, I don't know, I'm just using from what I know from other people. Sometimes they get patterns from other places, right? And they use those patterns, but they put a little kick to it, they put a little wordage to it, they put a little color to it, makes it totally different, right? So what that is that's a made to order, right? So that's different from custom made. A made to order is something that it already has something in place, but it can be duplicated at the request of someone, right? So with a pair of tennis shoes, for instance, you can have a pair of tennis shoes that are a plain old pair of Jordans, but somebody will take them, like Monique. And I have another good friend, Janae Foss out there, who would take tennis shoes and she would make them different. She could add some color to it. She could add some bling to it, and it makes it custom made. It makes it made to order at that point. At that point, it changed the process of what it was meant to be originally. See, some of us have got to understand that you are not made to order, but you're custom made. And you'll understand as we go into this even more into depths. See, this is the thing. Being custom made means that you're unique. in its own way. When something is custom made, it has specific instructions for it. It has a specific significance for it. It has a specific design. I want you to look in your mirror right now and ask yourself, are you custom made? Because I believe if I look in the mirror, I don't look like everybody. Everybody says everybody has a twin. That may be true, but if that was the case, even with twins are uniquely designed differently. There's something different about a set of twins. I have a coworker, her and her sister are identical twins, but if you look at them very closely, you can tell the difference. Why? Because there's something uniquely different about them. Custom made means that it is specifically uniquely designed. It is specifically and uniquely designed. Hey, Keith, thanks for joining us again on today. We're still getting people talking about you being on the show from Sunday. When you are looking at how unique something was created, it has nothing to do with anything else. One of the characteristics of something that's custom made is the specific sizing of it. When you're talking about being custom made, sometimes you have to go and you have to measure something. It has to be specific in the size that it is. Do you not understand that you have a specific size? You're not going to look like anybody else. So stop looking for that perfect you in someone else, because your size is always going to be different from somebody else. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter what you look like right now. The fact of the matter is your size is different. You may say, well, I stand beside Sister Sally, and Sister Sally weighs 150 and I weigh 150, but we don't look alike. Why? Because Sister Sally's 150 is shaped around maybe the back side of her versus the front side of her. So you got to understand that at some specific time, at some specific moment, it changes. Your sizes changes. It's based on the longevity of what you have. Do you not understand that when you're custom made, the materials that you use are unique? The materials that you have are distinctively designed for you. That's why they're unique materials. That's why they are handpicked for you. When something is custom made, so we got to get to this place that we understand some things. See, even in the business industry, a lot of times people don't want to pay for custom made items because they say custom made items are expensive. Well, that's because when you get in a custom made item, you're getting something that is uniquely designed to what you want. My daughter's a baker. A lot of times people ask her to make a specific cake that looks like something else, and they always get something slightly different because it's unique towards the event that they're having it for. This is the thing. Don't get so upset. Don't get so worried when you are not truly being sent to do what you need to do because somebody doesn't understand how uniquely that you are. See, that's the thing. Thank you, Keith. That is so true. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is the truth. That is biblical. And the reason why we have to understand that is the places where God has taken us to and is taking us to. I still keep hearing Dr. Seuss in my head. The places that we will go, it has to be unique. The material that God made you out of is not the same material that he made somebody else out of. When something is custom made, sometimes the person that is asking for the item gets a little frustrated because they want to know exactly when it's going to be due, when is it going to be ready. When you're doing a custom made item, you can't always give it down to the split second because you don't have 100 of them sitting in a corner. I do floral arrangements, I do weddings. And a lot of times people say, well, can I get that pink wreath over there? Can I get that wreath that has the design in it? No, you can't get that because everything that Elegant Elevations does is uniquely designed for the client. It is, you may see two wreaths, but no two wreaths that I make are the same. You know why? Because I have the person that is in mind that I'm making it for is going to be uniquely designed to them. I make this one lady, she's a good friend of mine. She's my Keith's grandmother. There's some things that the wreath I make for Miss Ruth is totally different from everybody else's, and nobody will know what the difference is but me and Miss Ruth when she looks at that wreath. You know why? Because it's uniquely designed for her. It is time and it's custom made just for her. You got to understand that you, my friend, are custom made. There is nothing like you. The timing that it takes for God to equip you and to mold you and to make you is a distinct time that he has set aside for you. You don't know about who you are or what you are until you start looking at the true you. My friend, when you start asking people about custom made items, one of the things that they will ask you is, what kind of pattern do you use? I don't know about you. I don't know who I'm talking to on today, or why it was necessary for me to tell you on today that even though there are some, you have some characteristics of some things, the pattern that you are made out of, that is custom made, has some things that's not going to be in any other pattern. I don't care how many times you pull out that same outfit, it is custom made with a different pattern. There's something about it that is different. When you are custom made, it also determines what you're connected to. Some of us are connected to the wrong pieces in the puzzle. We're looking for the pattern that we're going to continue to follow in, when in all actuality, there's nothing about you that is supposed to look the same way. You're supposed to talk different. You're supposed to walk in a new light. I don't know about you, and I don't know who you are that's listening on today or may listen later. But the thing that you have to understand is that you are unique. When we're talking about business and we're branding, the brand is uniquely designed towards you. Your brand is who you are. I'm speaking to my entrepreneurs out there. Those of you that are struggling with the concept of that someone is repeating what you're doing. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about whether you're doing what you need to do, because it is your pattern is uniquely designed by you. When you brand in your product, you have a stamp of approval that is designed by you. The design of the stamp of approval that God has given over your life, over who you are, is custom made. There is not another brand like you. There is not another Victoria Mahalia Holland in the world made like me. They may have my name, but they do not have my peace. They do not have my joy. They do not have what I offer. You got to understand that in this season right here, you're going to always be custom made. You're going to be always directed about the pattern that God has set for you. The land that he has, I heard that. The land that he has for you is for you. What God has for you is for you. The song says, what God has for me, it is for me. It is for me. It is for me. Do you understand that the reason why the songwriter said you had to repeat it? Because you have to be able to have it molded in your mind. You have to understand that it's created for you. It was designed especially for you. When we're talking about things that are custom made, there's sometimes a custom made only has one pattern and is thrown away. Why is that? Because it is uniquely designed and made for that one time usage. When you look at some of these superstars, these movie stars, and you are movie stars, sometimes when people design a dress for Beyonce, they design the dress specifically for my girl. There's not another dress that looks like that. No matter how many patterns you go out there and get, you're not going to look like Beyonce. I don't care how much you try. See, this is the thing. If we understood that how much it took for us to be the unique people that we are, God designed us to be custom made. He didn't need us to be like everybody else. He doesn't want us to be like everybody else. To my entrepreneurs out there, to my business owners out there, to my small business, my large owners, to all of you that are out there, that you're working your business with the ultimate goal, and that I'm going to make it be in spite of. Can I be honest with you? Keep doing what you're doing, because you are unique, and the products and the services that you have are unique to you. I just got off a call with someone, and I said this, and I'm going to repeat this to every entrepreneur out there. There are a group of people that God has designed for them to get your services. They may not come to Victoria Elevates for my services, but they're going to go to you. Why? Because you're uniquely designed for them, because there's a magnet that's been attached to you. See, I just heard that. There's a magnet that's attached to you, and that magnet is going to draw in the people that is designed for you. You got to quit waiting, looking for the way by the wayside and looking at everybody else. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am custom made. There is no two people like me. There is no look. I have the birthmark that is a chocolate drop. And guess what? I guarantee you, and it's never another chocolate drop made in the world on somebody else like it's made on me. Why? Because that is my distinct branded on me that nobody else can ever see. Nobody else will ever know, because it's not you. You got to understand that the pattern that God has made you out, it is distinct. It because you were distinctly and specifically made for this season. You was designed for this season. Look, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about pricing. Can I tell you that one of the things that most entrepreneurs, and I'm one of them, one of those things that hinders entrepreneurs sometimes when we're doing custom made books, when we're doing custom made reads, when we're doing custom made classes, when we're doing custom made podcasts, is something that always gets in the way of us feeling some kind of way. Some people don't have no but you're lying because there's something else that you're worried about. See, this is the thing. Pricing. You call up you call me at elevations, elegant elevations, and you say, I need a bouquet for my wedding, and I quote you a price for it, right? So this is why I don't quote prices. I tell you after I get everything else mapped out. But at the end of the day, I quote you a certain price, right? You get offended because you say, wait a minute, you're going to charge me that? But I can tell you one thing about elegant elevations all of my customers have always told me over the years, especially my brides. This is one thing that you always find something unique to put in there that says me. A couple of years ago, I did a ladies boutique. Thank you, Jesus. I did this lady's bouquet for her wedding. So the devil is a lie, right? I did this lady's bouquet for her wedding. I told her ahead of time what I was going to do with it. I expressed to her, give me something unique about you. Give me something that nobody else is going to understand you but you and the groom. Give me something. And she said, well, I like this. And I'm going to tell you because she's already married. They've been married for years now. She said, we met at the candy store. I said, your candy store? She said, yes, it's a candy store over on, and that's why we met. And she said, but we went to pick up the same piece of candy. And she said, that's how we met. She said, not everybody understands. It goes back to the uniqueness and the timing and the pattern, right? She had been at that same candy store previously, but what was unique was at the time that she went this time, God had sent her husband at that time. And when they went to reach for the candy, they picked up the same piece and they began to chuckle. And from that day to the day that I know of them, they still had that. There was a piece of Hershey's pieces of candy that they both liked. In her bouquet, there was a stream of Hershey's pieces of candy in her boutique, in her floral arrangement. See, the devil's trying to get me, but he ain't gonna, you don't win, devil. So in her bouquet, there was a stream of these Hershey's pieces that was throughout her bouquet, but it had lights that was attached to it. Why was that significant for her? Because he was the light of her world, and she met him in the candy store picking up the Hershey's Kisses. So you got to understand, when you are doing something unique, that you got to add in all of the pieces of the puzzle for their pricing. See, this is the thing. Your pricing for who you are. Sometimes the pricing is unique because you don't know how long it's going to take to create it. When you get in something custom made, you tell your client that I'm going to give you the contract. I'm going to send you the proposed date. What date do you need it by? Can I do it by that day? This is the price it's going to cost me to get it done by that day, because I got to go and get your unique materials. I got to get those things that are only conditioned for you. So you got to understand that when you are developing a pricing for something, it is about the cutting out of the pieces, right? You got to remove all of the negativeness that is attached to this. This is the thing. When you are getting ready to price something, it's got to show the perfection. See, I'm reading some notes because as God was downloading this to me, I was like, God, this is real good, because as a businesswoman, as a woman going back into the business arena, I had put away some things. I had stopped for a few minutes. I had put some things to the side, some of which because I was sick, and some things was because God said put a pause on it, put a break on it, so he can give me a praise break on it. And I apologize if my mouse is want to act up today. But this is is the thing. So the devil is a lie, because you got to know how custom made you are. See, when you're making those price arrangements, it is something that has to be branded so that it can be used by someone, or it can't be used by someone or someone else ever again, because it is unique to who you are designing it for. The custom made you is with something that nobody else can brand but you. When God branded you, he branded you. There is not nobody else like you. So a part of your pricing includes that branding. When you're talking about branding something, you're talking about that somebody can't ever use it. Does it then you start talking about, well, what's it going to take for me to ship it to you? What's it going to take for you to pick it up? What's it going to take? See, these are parts of the things that is in the pricing. So when God gets ready to shift you and ship you, when he gets ready to shift you and he is shipping you into a different arena, you got to know the price that you paid for that is every heartache that you went through. But can I be honest with you? It's because you are customly made. You are designed uniquely for him. There is nothing that you can understand. There's nothing that you can ever get past on this. So the thing is, when you're talking about the pricing, you got to talk about, if I'm going to shift it over here or I'm going to shift it over there. Am I shipping it? See, I said shift and shipping. So you got to understand, are you in your shifting season or are you in your unique season? See, there's something about where you got to go now. There's sometimes a part of the price that you have to pay is the price for being shifted into another atmosphere. Somebody say amen. Somebody got to understand this. Sometimes when you are being shifted in this season, the price that you pay is a heartache. Sometimes the price that you pay is for that disconnect. Sometimes the separation will cost some things for you. I don't know about you, and I don't know who I'm talking to this evening, but the reason why sometimes that this process of pricing a unique thing that you're doing, a unique item that you're doing, I'm working on some classes right now, and the way that the unique pricing is, it's got to include everything that's in it. The reason why pricing you is hard, because you don't understand how valuable you are. Sometimes you got to go back and look at the price that you had to pay. Sometimes when you are doing something for someone and you're making a custom item, they will say to you, why is the price higher than what it is in the store? My friends, let me tell you why the price is higher in the store. Prices that you may do as a custom item is because of the time and the time, oh Lord, the time. So I keep hearing them say the time that you have spent, the time that you spend creating, the time that you spend designing that pattern, the time that you spent crying out to the Lord. See, this is the thing. The reason why you're custom made and can't nobody touch that is because you are custom made. It took you through all of the fire and the brimstones to get you where you are right now. Sometimes because of where you are, you cannot be bought for a cheap price. You are a king or a queen unto the most high God. The cost that you had to pay is reason why the price that it seems too high for somebody else. See, my friends, my sisters, and my brothers, the reason why sometimes we as individuals, we have a hard time processing how much we should do some things for is because of the colors, because of the design, because of the equipment that we have to use. Sometimes we are too fearful of the people that are around us because they don't understand how much it costs you to do what you got to do. Thank you, Angela. The truth of the matter is that you should be paid for what you're worth. See, this is the reason why I love teaching a self-worth class, because many times the reason why we don't understand why we're going through the things that we're going through is because we don't understand our true value. The price that you paid to be here right now was a cost that nobody else can pay. The domestic violence that you went through, the homelessness that you went through, that moment of displacement that you went through, that moment of unemployment that you went through, that moment where you were dealing with crazy people on your job that wouldn't let you get to that price. When you're in your own business, you know the value of why you charge the prices that you charge. That's the reason why sometimes it doesn't matter where you are right now, but it matters where you're going to. See, I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I can tell you that you are a custom-made item. The services that you offer is a custom-made item. The business that you operate is a custom-made item. The reason why you're standing on your own 2 feet and nobody else's is because you're a custom-made item. The reason why The price you may pay, in fact, includes the risk. Sometimes that you are a risk taker. Sometimes you have gone through some. You have mapped out some things. One of the things that I often tell people about the business world that I can tell you about is this right here. I want you to do some things this way because I did it the other way and it cost me. Can I tell you why you are a custom made item to God? Is because He put you through some things so that you will be able to tell somebody else not to do it, not to be worried. Don't be worried. Don't be worried and well doing, because soon and very soon it's about to turn around in your favor. You got to understand the price that you pay. You got to the customer needs to understand the price of your equipment. Don't you have to when you start thinking about the price that you pay for those tears on your pillow, those tear stains that will never come out your pillow, the times that you had to walk with one shoe on and one shoe off, the price that you paid makes you a custom made item. The price that you pay includes that shift from this place to this place. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but can I tell you this? That as God was delivering this to me, it was unique, because at the very moment that I said I wasn't going to charge for something, God said, I don't know why you're not, because the price that you paid to get here, the price that you paid to get here is what's going to sustain you right now. See, the thing is, when you understand how uniquely you are designed, being uniquely designed doesn't mean that you have to stop being the unique you. Doesn't mean that you have to stop charging for who you are. You are worth it. Now, there's some people out there that you can barter with. That means you can trade a service for a service. Can I be honest with you? I have a collaboration versus conspiracy conference coming back up again this year. The thing is, it's okay to collaborate, but don't conspire against. See, this is the thing. You got to know when. You got to know when to roll. No, I don't know the song. But you got to know. Kenny Rogers knows the song. He sang it. I can't take it away from him. But you got to know what your worth is. You got to understand how valuable you are. The price that you put on a service is built on some things. And I want to touch with this again, because I feel this. I feel like it's important that you as people, I'm talking to the entrepreneurs on today. I'm talking to that entrepreneur who just started their business. I'm talking to that entrepreneur who's been in business for quite some time and still don't see the prices, the money coming in. It's because we have put ourselves at a cheaper price. We got to keep it. We got to knock it up to another level, my friends, because in this season, your value is the value that God put in you. It's the value, it's the cost of the anointing on you. That's the reason why you're still going through some things. You're saying, well, why does it not appear that I'm moving and I've been in the business for 10 years? Because maybe it took you 10 years to go past through all of the hardship and the heartbreak, so that you know at the 11th hour, that you'll be able to produce something. Say I had to move my notes because I don't like to be distracted by anything. See, this is the thing. Can I be honest with you, my friends? Sometimes the price that you give to someone includes the removal of the toxins, because there are some things that you are attached to that's causing you to be delayed. Can I be honest with you? You are a custom-made item, and a custom-made item can't be around everything. A custom-made item, when a person has a custom-made suit. I used to date a guy who designed custom suits, and he said one of the things that he hated upon everything is when he took out the time to design a suit, and the man would go and waste something on it. He said, you can't put something soiled on something that's called custom-made. It takes it too long to clean. Can I be honest with you? Some of the reasons why you don't understand your value is because you're still attached to things that is toxin to you, that is causing you to bleed in this season. Can I be honest with you? And God broke this down to me, and I was so tickled. He says sometimes you don't want the two colors to intertwine, because if they're bleeding on each other, it will cause a stain. It will cause the color of something to change. change. The reason why you're custom made and the reason why some things can't touch you is because you cannot be attached to the the toxin, the bleeding of somebody else. Sometimes we've been around people that are bleeding and they're bleeding out things that we just don't need to be attached to. We got to understand that in this season, that you have to separate yourself in order to understand yourself. You're custom made. Good God. He said, go back to the risk factor, because some of the things that you went through is because of the risk that you took. The reason why some of us are still battling in this season is because we took a risk and we said, I'm going to follow God no matter what. I'm going to do God no matter what. See, this is the thing. If you can't follow God, somebody said you got to separate God from your business. I don't know why, because if God wasn't in my business, I wouldn't have no business. Can I just say that? But there's some things that you do have to separate. You have to separate anything that God tells you that is not needed to be attached to you. See, there's sometimes, Joan, there's sometimes that we need to separate, because if it's bleeding toxics on us, then that's going to cause us to be infected. See, this is the thing. When he says move, you better move just like that. I know that's a part of a song out there, but if you got to move just like that. Why? Because the toxins that will come attached to you will cause you to have infection. So sometimes you have to you do not want the bleeding of somebody else to be bleeding on you. I don't know who I'm talking to today or who's going to be watching later, but you need to move from that person that you're sitting beside right now. I don't know who I'm talking to, but can I tell you right now, Joan, you is with me. I know you're praying with me, because I just heard that when you typed it, infection causes delay. So you got to understand that because you connected to some people is the reason why you ain't got that money in your bank account yet. The reason why the reason why some of us are still struggling and trying to pull out of the barrel is because we've been affected by the things that we are connected to. It's time for you to understand the price value of who you are. You as an entrepreneur, you got to understand that you can't price your product like I price my product. Why? Because you don't know what it took for me to get there, and I don't know what it's going to take you to get there. You got to price it according to who you are. So yes, God, I hear you. God said this is an entrepreneur. This is an entrepreneur conversation, because there's some brothers and sisters out there that think you're not worthy to do the job. You are more than worthy. You're more than a conqueror. It's because of who you connected to. Disconnect yourself from the infection. Disconnect yourself from the infection so that you can move into a different arena. Some of us are still we're sinking into quicksand because our mentality is what's infecting us. It's time to clean out the cobwebs out of your own mind. See, the thing is, if you start figuring out the price, I don't know who I'm talking to. I want somebody to share this with somebody that you know right now needs to know that they've been infected. And that's the reason why the pricing doesn't feel good right now. See, this is the thing. When I begin to understand about my business, when I begin to understand the coaching industry on a different level, when I began to start processing some things that God had put in my spirit, and I was getting on shaky ground, John, I was a little scary about coming back to the doing the lives. I was a little bit shaky about doing some things. And God said, why are you shaking? Because you don't have to shake, because I'm going to move you to your next level. It's not about the who and the what and the when, but it's about the doing. See, this is the thing. Everybody is jumping on this wheel right now, and I'm going to jump on it for about 30 seconds. See, this is the thing. You do not want to die and take all of this with you because you've been infected by something that's toxic, right? Let's talk about the delivery price. Let's talk about what it takes for you to deliver that price, that product that you have. See, this is the thing. If you're attached to something that is infected, they're going to tell you that you're charging too much, or you're charging too little, or you should just give it away. That's not what God said. God said there's a cost for you. There is a cost for your services. There's a cost for what you do. There's a cost for you walking the right way. You got to understand that when you're walking in this way, when you are walking before God right now, and everything you do, that there's a price attached to that. 95% of the time, it is because of where we're at right now that we miss out of doing the things that we need to do. See, this is the thing. God has prepared us a way, but we're afraid of the price that we have to pay. Mm-mm-mm. We are, God has prepared, John, God has prepared a place at the table with our enemies. But see, this is the thing. Sometimes he's prepared us a place at the table with our enemies, not that we eat their food, but we let them know who the real imitation, who the imitator in the toasters of the party was. It's the price that you pay. See, I've had to go to some events and I've had to pay for some things. And I didn't understand until I came into this business how people's low minds think. Let me take a pause right there. Sometimes God is pushing you to invest because you don't know what that person is going through. I do motivational speaking engagements, and I do programs, and I have classes and all, but nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. Why? Because God don't allow me to tell you everything. But he does say, produce the product. 95% of the people that are producing products, you got to understand that God sometimes put you in the places to bless them. And this is the reason why sometimes if you bless the house can turn around and bless you. See, this is the thing. I don't know about you, but my price that I pay, the price that I pay for delivering these messages on the live sometimes causes me to have to go back into hiding. Joan, sometimes I have to go back and hide, and I have to come off of Facebook. I have to come off of YouTube. I got to come off of this. Why? Because sometimes the enemy comes to attack, right? And sometimes the attack takes a toll on you. But sometimes he knows when to bring you in and bring you out because of your price. See, this is the thing. I want to talk to the entrepreneur again. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to remind your clientele that the reason why the price is what it is because you had to remove the toxins out of the product before they got it. Can I be honest with you? One of the reasons why God has allowed me to go back and revamp some things is because it's I need to remove some things. You had a misspelled word right there. You had a letter that should have been there. You had a sentence that should have been there. He said, people don't understand how much it took to get to this place. Can I be honest with you? You don't know. Nobody, you can never explain to anybody how much it took you to get to where you are right now. See, this is the thing. Sometimes when you're delivering, you have to charge an extra shipping and handling charge. Why? Because of how you package the deal. Okay, excuse me. I got to. Ooh, that was hot right there. Somebody better catch that. Sometimes you are paying for a special handling of the product. See, you are a special product, and the price that is put on your head, you got to be covered with the blood, right? And sometimes that cost right there, some people don't understand how delicate it can be because of the special packaging that it comes in. I watch my daughter sometimes, and she packages, and I'm not going to say how she does it because it's none of your business. You pay her for a service. But sometimes I watch how she delicately places the product in there. Thank you, Joe. See, sometimes sometimes she will put the cake or the cookies or the pies or whatever she's selling at that time. Sometimes she'll put it in a special container, and she's taking the time to line it with the correct material because she's an expert at what she does, and she knows. See, this is the thing. Are you an expert in what you know? Because this is the thing. If you're an expert, then you'll know what the packaging of your product is. You are a product of God. And sometimes, can I be honest with you, trying to package you, it has a big cost on your head. Sometimes your family ain't even in the picture. And I got good family. Sometimes they're not even in the picture. Why? Because sometimes they can't go where I go. They can't package this deal that I have like I package that deal. See, that's the thing. But the box that my daughter sometimes uses, the wrapping that sometimes she's using is very unique, and it can be very expensive to her cost. And so she got to Thank you, Holy Ghost. Sometimes you got to understand that the price that's on your head, you got to up price it to cover the security. You got to upprice it to cover your security. You got to upprice it to cover your security. Can I be honest with you? When you are going through what you're going through right now, sometimes you got to take out time to read your Bible just a little bit extra so you can cover what you got, what your priority is. You got to cover the product that God gave you. See, not everybody's going to understand how to cover that product. Can I be honest with you? Sometimes with that special handling fee, when you take it to delivery, sometimes I have to take my books and some of my stuff and have to ship it off to a certain place. And sometimes that certain place causes me to ship it to them, right? Because I got to package it a certain way. Because if I don't package it a certain way, if I don't cover it a certain way, it will get damaged. I don't want you to get damaged because you are a custom made item. You, my friend, my brother, my sister, are custom-made items. And can nobody do it like you do it? Can't nobody serve God like you serve God. Can nobody do what you do like you do it? You got to understand that the packaging that you're in, it is perfect. Sometimes you can't ship it by the airplane. Sometimes you can't send it on a boat. Sometimes you got to give it special care and you got to deliver it yourself. Hey, Sandra, sometimes you got to deliver that package yourself. You can't allow the postman to deliver it. Sometimes you got to deliver it. Sometimes you got to get in your vehicle and sometimes you got to make it do what it do. Can I be honest with you? When I was still doing floor arrangements, sometimes I had to package those things very uniquely, and they couldn't be put in a box because if you push the box down too close to it, it would break the flowers. When I was doing live flowers, sometimes if you packaged it incorrectly and you shipped it somewhere, sometimes the water would drip out and the flower would die before it got to its destination. So I was quickly taught that you got to watch your packaging. Some of you got to watch how you package yourself. Because what you're connected to is what's keeping you from being a good deal. Some of you are waiting on some things, but it's about how you package yourself. It's time for you to understand that what you are is a custom-made item. Sandra makes custom-made jewelry. Guess what? Ain't no two pieces that Sandra does alike. I guarantee it. Sandra, I know I'm telling the truth. You can put two of her necklace together, and I guarantee you there's one thing that is different on this one that's different on that. Why? Because it's a custom-made item. So you got to understand there's a difference. I told you in the beginning, there's a difference. There's a difference between made on order and customized. When it's made on order, that means you got 10 sets of them sitting there, and all you need is, you say, I need 10 let me see, I make corsages for weddings. Sometimes the bride would say, I need 10 boutonnieres. And I'm quick to tell the person I'm working with, I can get you 10 boutonnieres, and they're gonna be all the same color, they're gonna be using the same flower, but ain't no 10 flowers gonna be alike. I don't care how, but I use the same pattern. I use the same technique. I'm going to put this bow this way. I'm put this bow this way. That's made to order. I got 10 of those out. I did a wedding last October and I did everything. If I'm doing corsages, I did all 10 of them at the same time. But, ooh, thank you, Holy Ghost. But when I did the bride's bouquet, it was custom made. Every bead was customly put. Do you not understand? Because you're customly made, God has assigned everything to you that you need. I can tell you from myself, there's some things that I thought that God couldn't do. And then he reminded me, he is the custom maker. He is the one that can put me on the potter's wheel and keep me there and rotate me until Sandra, he does things that is so unique, and he does it on purpose for a reason. Sometimes we got to get out the way. Sometimes we've been stuck in this mud too long. Sometimes we've been stuck in our heads too long. I said this last night. Sometimes we stuck up here too long and we can't get out because we are all tied up here. Get out of here and understand why you're custom made. You're custom made. You got to understand that sometimes you got to carry that package to your customer. I bring my package to the customers. My job is to come on here and do the lives when God tells me to. The reason why my classes are gonna grow. See, I speak life over my. See, you gotta learn how to speak life over your your prices. I'm speaking life over my prices because guess what? The students that are coming to my class, they ain't gonna just be coming. They're gonna come with a purpose, and they're gonna pay for that purpose because they know how important it is for their growth. Do you know what your price is for you? I speak to you on today. I say to you from the bottoms of my heart, understand your value. Understand who you are. Understand that you are customly designed. Everything that you do, every place that you walk was customly designed by God for you to walk that way. I got off a call earlier today and I said, God, that was a design call by you. The person spoke one thing and they knew nothing about what I was planning to do. And God said, I'm sending you a wave because the price that you've had to the price that you've had to pay for this anointing is going to make you grow. See, this is the thing. Don't think it funny that your name is being mentioned in other places. I can prove it to you. I can show it to you. But you wouldn't believe me unless I showed it to you. But God said, you don't have to even show anybody anything. He said, I'm making room. I'm moving things out of your way. But understand that you're custom made. Like I said earlier, some of you probably don't listen to a Clubhouse. I didn't listen to it till a few months back because I didn't understand the process. But until God told me to go into the Clubhouse and state something. And tomorrow we're going to continue that. Will the real you stand up? Will the real you stand up? Because you're customly made. You have specifics that are about you. You're unique because of the material that you're made out of. The timing that God has put you on this planet is unique. You're not microwave. It may have taken you 60 years like it did me to get here, but you're here. The pattern that he cut you out, there's only one. That's the pattern that you is. The pricing that you price. One of the analogies, and I'm going to go, is this what God showed me. He said, sometimes people go in Walmart and they see two parts. They see the store brand and they see the Walmart brand. He said, they're the only difference in those two things is how they present themselves. The difference is how you present yourself. I shared this with one of my colleagues the other day. We're all experts. Remember this. We're all experts. Why are we all experts? It's because an expert is someone who's studied something else and made their own knowledge more wise about it. They got wisdom for it. I'm an expert because I continue to study. I'm an expert coach because I continue to study. I ain't got these things on my wall just for my own help. It's because it's a reminder to me that the hell that I went through to get here. Because people in mornings would say I would never be nothing. They still say it. But what they don't know is that God said I am something because I am custom made. There's people here in Greensboro, North Carolina that say the same thing. But God said, don't worry about it because, baby, you are custom made. He said, don't worry about the naysayers and the do-sayers. You are custom made. So I'm telling you today, you're custom made, baby. And the price that you charge, the price that it costs you, the price is only a smidgen of what you're truly worth. I hope something's been said to you that's going to make you be empowered. It's going to empower you, embrace you, and educate you. Because, my friend, it's time for you to be elevated and not tolerated. You've been sitting there too long thinking that you were made to order. But, baby, you are custom made. Keep it moving until I see you next time. Have a blessed and wonderful day.